Hey everybody, I'm in Nashville, Indiana today, which I wouldn't consider it far from Indianapolis, but it's not exactly right next door as a suburb of Indianapolis either. And the reason I'm here, I'm going past some leaf blowers. It is the fall, so this is the time to be in Nashville. But I'm here to talk about some of the different getaways that you can have around Indianapolis if you in fact need a getaway. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, I'm Jason Compton with the Compton Home Group. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about, of course, living in Indianapolis or even a place like Nashville, Indiana, or any of the suburbs surrounding Indianapolis, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and also tap the little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video. Now, we have people reaching out to us from all over the country with questions about Indianapolis, of course, but a lot about those cities and towns that surround Indianapolis. And this one here isn't exactly on everybody's radar all the time, but if you move to the Indianapolis area, you're going to hear about this particular town in southern Indiana, just south of Indianapolis. So if you have questions at all about anything Indianapolis or any of the cities and towns surrounding Indianapolis, then make sure you reach out any way that you know how. We'll always have your back with those questions, and we'll certainly have your back when it comes time for you to make your move to the Indy Metro. All right, guys, today I'm in Nashville, Indiana, again, like I said at the beginning of the video, and it just parked. So this time of year, you'll notice I've got my sweatshirt and jacket on. It is certainly cool. This morning it's in the 40s, and this video is being shot kind of mid-late October. In fact, you can see a lot of leaves on the ground, and there's a big leaf blower right over here on the side of this restaurant that's making all kinds of noise. As I come up here, maybe he's on the other side at least. But you can certainly hear it. So anyway, it's cool, but then this weekend it's gonna be up near 80 degrees, which is the week before Halloween. And you can kind of get that, honestly, in this part of the country kind of often in the fall. The fall's great, the weather's really good, but it can be kind of bad sometimes, and of course it can be phenomenal sometimes. But I'm in this small town, Nashville, Indiana, for a couple of reasons. This place is just really awesome in the fall. Super crowded when the weather's really nice. In fact, this is just a random Thursday, late morning going in the afternoon. And while there might not be a ton of people in this video, kind of trying to stay out of the crowds as I go further to the north into Nashville proper, because this is right on the edge, right on the other side of these buildings, downtown Nashville, the historic portion of it. There's still a lot of people here, a whole lot. But I wanted to kind of discuss a couple of things in this video, not just about Nashville, Indiana, but just about Indianapolis and some of the getaways that you might need. Now, Indianapolis is a big enough city to where I don't know if you necessarily need a getaway all the time. There's plenty to do in Indianapolis, and you'll hear people talk, of course, from time to time, see comments on these videos that, oh, Indianapolis is boring, there's nothing to do. A lot of times, these are comments coming from people, they're pretty hard to please. There's plenty to do in Indianapolis. Now, if you are a single person, no family, something like that, there's still plenty for you to do. It just depends on what your opinion of doing is. If you want nightlife, it has nightlife. But is the nightlife like it's gonna be in Miami, New York, Los Angeles? No, it's not. So it may not be the place for you. But if you've got a family, Indianapolis, the whole area around Indianapolis, a lot of the cities and towns, they could be a decent fit for sure. But from time to time, you might need a little getaway. So this is one of those places, as an example, that could be good. So from where at least I was, it's only about an hour and 15 minutes away. And I've come here with the family before. It's definitely really cool to do just on a weekend, although you're gonna have to fight the crowds this time of year. But downtown Nashville is popular really all year long, and it's just a cool place to go. They have antiques, shops, restaurants. But I used to come down here a lot in the past whenever I was into biking, and I'd come down here for the mountain biking. So if you're into a lot of the outdoor stuff, then you've got plenty of that down here. In fact, I would call it, outside of downtown Nashville, the historic portion, it's more of an outdoorsy type of place. Southern Indiana is very different from northern Indiana. It's very wooded, it's very hilly. It doesn't match a lot of what you're normally gonna see or hear about, I guess, the Midwest and farm country and all of that. So Southern Indiana can surprise you quite a bit. So if you're in Indianapolis and you need that kind of getaway, is just about an hour away. You've got plenty of huge forests, state parks, plenty of hunting, fishing, camping, cycling, mountain biking, antiquing, just like you're going through here in downtown Nashville. You've got plenty of variety for doing something like that. But outside of a place like this, Indianapolis is actually really centrally located in the Midwest. So if you've looked at a map, you would realize this, but what does that really mean? So if you wanted to get to, let's say, a place like St. Louis, which a lot of people do. Now, St. Louis is actually a little bit far from Indianapolis, at least in my opinion. It's gonna take you at least 4 hours or so to get over to St. Louis. Easy drive, straight west on I-70. Wanted to go to Nashville, Tennessee, which that is a cool city. Definitely done that multiple times. Where I've gone down there to just have fun in Nashville, go down there for a concert. That's close to 5 hours away. But there are other places nearby that you may want to go because they've got a lot to offer. You look at a place like Cincinnati, Ohio. Now, Cincinnati, Ohio, to get to Cincinnati and downtown Cincy, if you want to go see, let's say, a football game, baseball game, downtown Cincy, or just go have fun in Cincinnati, less than 2 hours away. That's extremely close, and it's a very easy drive. If you wanted to get to Chicago, which of course is one of the biggest cities in the entire country, a lot of people will say it's 2.5 hours to get to Chicago, but the reality is, if you want to get into downtown proper, lakefront, Miracle Mile, all that kind of stuff, Old Navy Pier, or the Navy Pier, not Old Navy Pier, but Navy Pier, that's 3 hours. So once you get up to Chicago, it's 2.5, but to wind and weave your way through there to actually get to where you want to go, you're gonna hit some traffic, and it's gonna be more than that 3 hour category. Even over to the east, a place that some people forget about, but there are actually things to do there, and it's just as large as Indianapolis. In fact, just a little bit larger, probably, their whole metro is Columbus, Ohio. That's just 2.5 hours to the east, and Ohio is actually a really beautiful state in a lot of parts of it. It's a lot like southern Indiana. Hilly, wooded, surprises people quite often. But outside of Chicago, of course, if you just wanted to get up that way and not necessarily get into the busyness of Chicago itself, but Lake Michigan. Going up into Michigan and going all along the lake there is a pretty big vacation spot for a lot of people here. So if you're getting away from Indianapolis and you don't want to drive to any of those places, Florida and the Carolinas are the big summer vacation spots, spring break spots. And of course, that's going to be a flight or a longish drive. So you could be talking 12 hours, 13 hours, 14 hours, depending on where you want to go in Florida, how far south you're going, or how far south you're going into North Carolina or South Carolina. But if you didn't want to drive quite that far and you still wanted that beachy environment, that kind of vibe, then Michigan could be it. And just to get up to Michigan and Lake Michigan and a small town along the lake, which some of the small towns along the lake are incredible, and have that beach vibe, you're talking 3 hours, sometimes more, and oftentimes less. So like 2.5 hours, somewhere in there, just to get to the dunes up along Lake Michigan in northern Indiana and into the state of Michigan. So you've got so many options here, and there are other places in the Midwest that are a lot more isolated. So you're in that city, and if you needed to go anyplace else, it's going to be a flight, or it's going to be many hours of driving, no matter what your choice is. Indianapolis is more central. So you got places like this, which a lot of other states are going to have too, just kind of as a little day trip. So like I said, it's only took me hour 15 minutes to get here and park and then be out. So come have lunch, you can come shop a little bit, you can go and see the sights. Brown County State Park is literally just about 1.5 miles, 2 miles down the road. Go into the state park, do some hiking, you can drive around in there, you can bring the kids. I mean, it is a super, super cool thing to do in the fall, but not just in the fall, other times of year. So if you have questions about Indianapolis and its location, and if I just wanted to get out, what kind of options do I have? Make sure you reach out any way that you know how, and we'll catch you in the next one.